Good morning and welcome to our 8th annual MLK Day of Service event. My name is Ebony Wright and I am the president and founder of the Esther Lois Mays Scholarship Foundation. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for your support. Our theme this year is Dr. King's quote, "If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way." Our distinguished guest speaker is Ms. Narendra Ples, Suffolk's newly elected Commonwealth's attorney. For those of you tuning in for the first time, the Esther Lois Mays Scholarship Foundation is a nonprofit organization that awards scholarships to high school seniors in Suffolk Public Schools. The foundation was established in 2013 in honor of my late sister, who died in a car accident in 2002. In 2016, we added a healthcare scholarship, the Rosie Ellis Field Scholarship, in honor of our vice president's sister, who died from complications of lupus. Both women were extremely passionate about education and about helping our youth. Each year, on MLK Day, the foundation gathers with members of the community to honor Dr. King's legacy and to raise scholarship funds. Because of your generosity, the foundation has awarded over $68,000 in scholarships to high school students in Suffolk Public Schools. Thank you. For more information about our foundation and about the scholarships that we offer, please visit our website at www.stmscholarshipfoundation.com. During this event, we will provide historical information about Martin Luther King's civil rights fight and legacy right here in Virginia. I will begin with his visit to Peanut Park in Suffolk, Virginia in 1963. In 1963, Dr. King spoke to an audience of approximately 6,500 about the importance of civil rights legislation. It was here that he said, "There are some of you who say you cannot change people by law, but if civil rights legislation can't change the heart, it can control the heartless." While we have made great progress with civil rights legislation, we still have a long ways to go. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Amelia Jenkins with a few words about Dr. King and two of our 2021 scholarship recipients.
Hello, my name is Amelia Marie Dickens and I attend Nesbitt Parkway Elementary School, and I would like to say a few words about Martin Luther King Jr. He was a hero, a leader, a speaker, a man of great courage and wise, a coach, a believer, a peacemaker, a preacher, and equal were all in his eyes.
Hi, my name is Brooke Barnes and I'm the 2021 recipient of the Esther Lois Mays Scholarship. I'm a student at the University of Virginia and I'm attending the major in global public health and minoring in medical anthropology. I want to thank the foundation for naming me a recipient, as it allowed me to pursue my higher education with little to no financial burden. While I don't have a specific career path yet, I want to do my best to make an impact on global health equity. Thanks again, and have a happy MLK Day.
Greetings everyone, hope everybody's having a great day, and Happy New Year to you all. First off, my name is Marcus Green. I am an alumni of Nez River High School, Tidewater Community College, and Paul Kent Community College. Recently, I graduated with my associate's degree, which allowed me to be recognized as a junior at Virginia Commonwealth University, the school that I'm currently attending. This past semester, fall semester, was a great one. It was very fun, I enjoyed it, and it wasn't as stressful in the financial part because of the support from the donors, the support from my community, and the scholarships that helped me on this journey. So again, I just want to say thank you to everyone, and God bless you all, and have a great one.
Hi, my name is Sabrina Turner, and I'm joining you from the Emancipation and Freedom Monument in Richmond, Virginia. The Virginia Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Commission dedicates this monument to African American Virginians who made significant contributions to the fight for the emancipation and freedom of formerly enslaved persons and for civil rights in the Commonwealth of Virginia through the 20th century. Each year, the foundation recognizes members in the community who demonstrate outstanding leadership. We are pleased to announce the Community Leadership Award recipients of 2021 are educators from Suffolk Public Schools.
You want to be important? Wonderful. If you want to be recognized? Wonderful. If you want to be great? Wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. By giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great. Because everybody can serve.
I think just interacting with the kids, with the students, is what I love most about teaching. Just actually the hands-on, face-to-face, being able to just nurture them, just to pour into them, and have them pour into me. That's just the best thing I love about the teaching, the interaction.
After working 10 years in civil service with guidance from other educators and a love for kids, I decided to become a teacher in order to affect change in the students from my community and the school district from which I am a product of.
Please join me in welcoming the former Mayor of Suffolk, Ms. Linda Johnson, to present an award.
Good morning, everyone. I have a great privilege of giving an award this morning. But before I do that, I just want to say a few words because I think it's very fitting that we're talking about a community leader on Martin Luther King Day, because he was the epitome of the community leader. People know his quotes and they know about the mountaintop and I have a dream, but if you start to go through all of the quotes, you will find hundreds and hundreds of quotes. And many of them talk about education. Many of them talk about why he was so much a proponent of education. For me, I've done this for years as a former mayor. I didn't even tell you, I'm former Mayor Linda Johnson, but anyway, we'll go with that. I've done this day for years, and from the perspective of that I'm a child of the 60s. So I actually got to witness and to hear these speeches and to hear them come from him. And I got to hear stories from Mayor Holley about his visit to Suffolk. And I got to hear stories from former Councilman Miltier about how when he came here that night and how it was. So for me, this day means so much more than just the Martin Luther King Day that we all come forward. We should be making every day as the Martin Luther King Day because he truly was the epitome of what we all should be. And with that, I just want to use a couple of his quotes talking about Mrs. Pierre. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and critically, intelligence and character. That is the goal of education. And I think as you hear a little bit more about Mrs. Pierre, you'll see why I use that quote. The other piece that I think we all need to remember, because most of what we're talking about during this award is going to be during the pandemic and how she rose to the occasion. And one of his favorite things to say was, "We may have all come on different ships, but we are all in the same boat today." And if the pandemic didn't teach us anything else, it certainly taught us that we are all going to rise together or we're going to have a difficult time. So I just think we need to remember so much more about Martin Luther King than just the few quips that you're going to hear on the television all day long. And then we kind of put things back a little bit. So, Mrs. Pierre, I want to tell you, first of all, I know to be an educator is not easy. And I know it's not the most grandiose, You're not going to get wealthy, all of those things. But I always believed that it was something you did from the heart. And you have done this for 20 years at John Yates Middle School, now 15 years, special education, which to me, probably one of the most difficult things that you could possibly ever do. I taught high school, and I thought that was hard, but I think what you do is probably a bit more challenging. And as I was listening to how you worked so hard to keep every one of these children on task with their IEPs, making sure that everything was managed and that they got what they needed during this time, all the while teaching a French student English language. And I understand that you did that so well that when they came back, they didn't have to do that anymore. So, the fact that you just have continued to give and do more every day, and I see a huge smile on your face when I see you. And, I have a heart for John Yates. I graduated from there. It's now middle school, so that tells you a little bit about me. But I just want to say to you that to be a community leader is what you do every day when you enter that classroom and you take these children under your wing and you are teaching them to become the children that we know that they're capable of being, but not without someone like you to stand beside them. And so for that reason, this morning, you are going to receive the Community Leadership Award. It is presented to Claudette Pierre. Today is January 7th, 2022.
Oh, thank you so much. This is such an honor, such an honor. You have no idea.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just want to say, you all just don't know what this means to me, to receive an award such as this. Day in and day out, I go in working with my students, and I don't expect anything except for them to be the best that they are. I meet them where they are. We work as hard as we can. We're a big family, and I love my kids, and they love me. I just want to say thank you so much to the S. Delois Mays Scholarship Foundation for even thinking enough of me to honor me with this award. I would like to thank Ms. Turner for nominating me. This is a reward not just for me, but for all special ed teachers, because sometimes we are in the trenches and we never get recognized. We don't do it for the recognition, though. We do it for the joy. I'm telling you, I was in high finance before I started teaching, and no reward is more than my day-to-day interactions with these kids. I love them. I love their families. Their families buy into my craziness, which makes my day go by beautifully. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, thank you, thank you for this award. You just have no idea what it means to be recognized. You could have recognized anybody amongst my peers, but I accept this on behalf of my students. We're in room 23 Posse at John Yates Middle School, and on behalf of other teachers in the special ed and just teachers in general, I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson, and congratulations, Ms. Pierre. Now please join me with welcoming school board member Ms. Larita Mayo to present an award.
First, I wish to thank Mrs. Ebony Wright, president of the S. Delois Mays Scholarship Foundation, for inviting me to be a part of this important event. Through the years, the foundation has provided scholarships for high school seniors who attend Suffolk Public Schools. In addition, the foundation continues to honor outstanding leaders who have contributed much to our community. The Leadership Award recipients for this year are both Suffolk Public Schools educators. It is a privilege and an honor to present the Community Leadership Award to one whose work is exemplary and most worthy of recognition by the foundation. I am especially proud because one of the award recipients is a teacher at one of the schools in the Holy Neck Borough, in which I serve as their representative on the Suffolk School Board. Ms. Valine Shaw is described as the village that helps youth succeed in and out outside the classroom. She is a math teacher at Lakeland High School and the youth director at East End Baptist Church for over 20 years. She is a dedicated educator who is involved in the total school program at Lakeland High School. She gives freely and selflessly of her time, talent, and expertise to her Lakeland students and the youth at East End. I asked one of her colleagues at Lakeland High School to comment on Ms. Schaub and her work ethic. Her colleague stated that Ms. Schaub genuinely cares about her students and requires their respect. She gives all that she can to help her students develop and grow. Some of the activities mentioned by this colleague are: provides after-school tutoring, works especially with seniors to ensure that they have what they need to graduate, communicates with other teachers about her students' academics, works with students one-on-one to solve issues that they may have, teaches an online course in addition to her regularly scheduled classes, and I might add that she gave up her planning time to do this. She is also, and this colleague knew about her work with the youth at the church. She is involved with youth at her church, takes youth on college tours during spring break and during the summer. And then finally, this colleague said that she prepares her students and her church youth for the real world. Through Ms. Schaub's actions, she exemplifies the spirit of leadership, excellence, and commitment to her community. It is my pleasure to present the S. Dolores Mays Community Leadership Award to Ms. Violine Sharp.
I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the S. Dolores Mays Scholarship Committee and the community for this award. Thank you for all that you do in the community and in the lives of our kids.
Our guest speaker is Narendra Plaz, Suffolk's newly elected Commonwealth's attorney. Ms. Plaz made history in Suffolk by becoming the first woman and woman of color to hold the position. Ms. Plaz previously served as Deputy Commonwealth's Attorney for the City of Norfolk. She has represented the Commonwealth of Virginia in criminal cases for over 16 years in 4 jurisdictions. Ms. Plaz received her Juris Doctor degree from Indiana University and a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Political Science from Agnes Scott College. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished guest speaker, Ms. Narendra Plaz.
Good morning. My name is Narendra Plaz, and I come to you today as Suffolk's newly elected Commonwealth's Attorney. I'm pleased and honored to have been asked to speak today on this day of honor and remembrance of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on this 8th annual MLK Day of Service for the S. Dolores Mays Scholarship Foundation. Like Dr. King, I too am from Atlanta, Georgia. And growing up and honoring Dr. King is basically part of Atlanta's DNA. It didn't matter that his birthday was not a federal holiday until 1986. What was important was that Atlanta knew about it and they celebrated it. So it's always been important for me. So to continue to celebrate his birthday and to continue his history of service and commitment to justice has been the norm for me since I was little. So again, I'm pleased to be here on this day of service. In addition to his legacy as a civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a gifted orator. He was a gifted writer and scholar and frequently made writings and statements that made the world stop, listen, think, and change. One of his quotes and the topic of today's conversation is, "If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way." I can't say it in the manner in which he said it, right? He had this voice, he had this tenor, he had this tune that many preachers have, that they deliver things in a certain way. And I can't say it like that, but it doesn't make it any less important. If I can't do great things, I can do small things in a great way. It's a powerful statement. And it's hard to look upon Dr. King's legacy and his life and not think of his greatness, right? Those two things, in my opinion, are synonymous. His life. He grew up in segregated South. His struggles. He worked tirelessly to improve the lives of Black Americans. And his perseverance. He continued in the face of death threats, of bombings, of police brutality, of dog attacks. He continued on. So we look at him and we think greatness. So what did he mean by that statement? Did he mean that we should not attempt greatness because only greatness can be celebrated? I don't think so. Let's look at his legacy and look at what he left. He wanted everyone to dream big. It doesn't mean that you have to achieve these large, great things in order to do something great. Reach for the stars. Strive to achieve greatness. Have that dream. He even wrote a speech about it. I have a dream. He wants you to dream. And that is what he wanted people to do, to have a vision. And in this simple statement, Dr. King acknowledged that we are human and we cannot always be great, right? In saying that if I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. It acknowledges that we may not always achieve that big goal that we have, but we can make smaller steps to achieve smaller things, or to perhaps help someone else achieve something just as big. So what that means is we must always try. Because if we never try, we can never do those small great things. So at some point, you have to take that first step forward and put your foot out and at least try. So let's take an example. You want to be an astronaut. You want to be the person to explore space. You want to find that new planet that will sustain human existence, right? You have NASA stickers all around your room. You got those little stickers on your ceiling that glow in the dark, like you are in this, right? What you want is for Christmas, you don't want toys, you don't want a PS3, or I guess they're on like 5 now, maybe 15, I don't know. But you want to go to space camp. That's what you wanted to do. Like, you are committed to becoming an astronaut. But there's one small thing that gets in your way. You get motion sick. And not a little sick, but big sick. Like the kind that when you think about a roller coaster, going on a roller coaster, you turn green. Now, it's a big deal for you turning green because your skin is brown. So when you turn green, that means you are really, really ill. So you think about traveling on an airplane and you break out in sweat, the kind that deodorant just can't control. You have issues with movement. And so what does that mean for you? Does it mean you give up on your dream? Does it mean that your stars are too far out of your reach? Or what about this? You want to be like Oprah. You live in a neighborhood or in a community where children don't have access to quality education, where safety can be a concern for children, and there's poverty. You want to open a school that will provide an open door for these children, that they will be competitive with the likes of children that attend elite boarding schools. That's what you want to do. You want to expose them to those opportunities around the world that they might not see because all they see is the inner city. But you didn't graduate from high school. So are you done? Do you give up? Do you not do anything forward? Do you just continue to look out of the window and see what you want to do and actually do nothing? At first, these things might seem insurmountable, but they aren't. What they have in common is that someone dared to dream. You dared to think it could be done. You dared to perhaps take a risk. So then what's next, right? So you've got your dream, and a lot of people have dreams, right? That's a good thing. That's the first part, dream big. That's what Dr. King wanted. Next step is to just do something. Just do something. It sounds very simple, but sometimes it takes a lot of effort to put that first foot out there and to walk. But that's what you have to do. You have to do something. So let's revisit our scenarios. So again, let's go back to our astronaut. So again, you were really, really into being an astronaut, like really, really big. You've got a tattoo of Jupiter on your back. It's right next to the tattoo you got of Saturn. Like, you've got a whole solar system right there on your back because you're committed. You went to Cape Canaveral. You wanted to see a spaceship launch. You're committed. Then you go to Disney because you're like, okay, it's right there next to, Kennedy Space Center. And I'm gonna ride Space Mountain, right? Space Mountain, I want to go to outer space. All right, if I can do this, I can do anything. But still, you get motion sick, so it did not turn out so well. And so what? Does that mean you still don't become an astronaut? You still love the space and you still love the stars. You still want to find that planet that will sustain human life. So instead, you become a scientist. You've always liked science, and you would have studied that anyway to become an astronaut. And you focus on astrophysics, right? Study of the stars, study of the universe, study on that movement, and all the other scientific stuff. I went to law school, so forgive me. But you study, let's say, the thermodynamics of interstellar microplanetary particles. And that leads you to discover a previously invisible planet that lays just beyond the Milky Way, behind some type of wormhole, that can now be identified and studied for possible human life. Now, all those terms I just made up, right? That's me putting together a whole bunch of fancy words that are related to science and the stars, but you get my point. You didn't have to become an astronaut to do something great. You didn't have to go where no man or woman had ever gone before. You just needed to have a vision and to execute your plan. Now you can avoid all that pesky space travel. You can avoid the threat of alien abduction and all of that other drama that comes with it. You can stay safely here on Earth and guide those crazy astronauts that actually want to get on a spaceship and go into space. And now that new planet is named after your first cat, Mr. Sparkles. See, you've done great things. You didn't turn out to be the astronaut you wanted to be. But those were small things that you accomplished in order to do something great. And what about little Miss Oprah? And remember, she did not graduate from high school. But you really, really want to give back to your community. It's very important to you. You're a hardworking mom, and you see it, and you see there's something that needs to be done for these children. So you sign up to get your GED. You work a full-time job, so you have to go to classes at night. When you finish your classes, when you finally finish your GED course, you take the test, you're all excited, I'm about to do this is gonna help me on my journey. But you didn't pass the first time you took your GED. Well, you're like, I'm not gonna let that stop me. Like, these kids really need me. So you take the GED test again. And this time you pass. So after you obtain your GED, you enroll in community college and you earn your associates in early childhood education. You start a new career with this new degree in a highly acclaimed educational center, this early educational center that everybody wants their kid to go to. You start to work with local leaders to obtain money for funding to admit low-income children, and you try to make sure that those children are always enrolled in your program. These children would not have otherwise had any type of access to early education. You find that they outperform their peers in school because they went to your school. Now, did you open a school like Oprah? No. Did you change someone's life for the better? Absolutely. Your small steps turned into something great. You did those small things in a great, amazing way. And isn't that the ultimate goal? We've all been taught over the course of our lives to leave something better than the way we found it. And isn't that what life is all about? What are we here for on this earth, in Virginia, in Suffolk, if not to make things better? This is what Dr. King meant. Do something. Give something. We can't all be Dr. King. We're all different for different reasons, and those things should be celebrated. So on this day of remembrance, remember that we may not achieve greatness, but we can do small things in a great way. To do that, we must dare to dream and then act. So on today's day of remembrance, go out and be great. Thank you so very much, and good luck to all of you.
Thank
Thank you, Ms. Narendra Ples, for those encouraging words from Dr. King's quote. If I can't do great things, I'll do small things in a great way. We can all do something small that will have a great impact on our communities. Thank you all so much for tuning in. But before we leave, I want to leave you with a piece of history. I'm standing here in Norfolk, Virginia, at the Harrison Opera House, where in 1961, it was called the City Arena. And it was here where Dr. King spoke to an audience of 2,500 people. And he said, if America is to remain a first-class nation, we cannot have second-class citizens. He was talking about equality then, and we're still fighting that today. I encourage you to take this day of service to promote equality in our communities. Again, thank you for your support and thank you for your time. For more information about our foundation, please visit www.sdmscholarshipfoundation.com. Thank you.
Thank you.